So we are shooting this on Memorial Day, and around this time of year, whether it's in independent garden centers, big box stores, places like Home Depot, Lowe's, or your local nursery, you're going to see a lot of what's called drop-in color. And those are containers that have already been composed. Most of them are already at their peak. Most of them contain lots of annuals. Maybe some contain a mixture of annuals and perennials. But they are intended to just refresh your border or refresh any space, to give it a punch of color, to make it look a little bit more lively, as depending on your zone, whatever is spent is spent. So for you, that might be tulips, that might be the first flush of perennials, it might be daffodils. It just really depends on where you live. But once that first flush of color is over, well, if we want to infuse it with some energy and some brightness, then we might want to use some drop-in color. And we're going to talk a little bit about some very, I think, basic rules to make drop-in color more successful, less expensive, and lower maintenance. Now, this is an example, maybe a different kind of color palette, but an example of what you might see when you go to the nursery. And it's just a profusion of bloom that is just ready to go and dropped into place. You can see here, this is a pot. In fact, it was one of those drop-in color pots that I used to form fit into this galvanized planter. Now, I composed this myself with things that can really take the heat. So I think a rule number one, when you are composing some drop-in color, and drop-in color into your pots on the front porch, into your border, whether you plant them and literally put them into the ground, dig a big hole and rest the pot into the hole, or you just take the pot and you set it into place. Some of these rules, I think, will just make it that much easier for you. So you can get a container like this, and like I say, just drop it into place. This is a mixture of both annuals and perennials. So if you buy one that is already filled, chock full of annuals right now, things like petunias, sometimes even still pansies, sometimes lobelia, things like that, those are not going to last very long because they're already selling them at their peak. And before you know it, one good rainfall, all of those blooms are just going to be, they're just going to be kind of washed out and soggy, and you're going to have to cut them off for another bloom. So another flush of bloom. So to me, the best drop in color is that which will be long lasting. And perhaps most importantly, will continue to bloom fairly effortlessly until first frost, without tons of deadheading, without tons of feeding, and without tons of garden maintenance. I think this time of year, we tend to think of a garden refresh as just infusing more color or freshened color into the garden. But you can also refresh your garden spaces with drop-in plants that lend interest, even though it's not necessarily color. So in this case, and by the way, these Eugenias, they are available almost everywhere right now. You could just drop in a pot of Eugenia without even having to replant it or repot it, dig a hole, drop it into the ground, and I promise you it will be happy there. And then you can just kind of mulch it or not, depending on what is around, to kind of obscure the fact that that's what you've done. But that's another way to drop in freshness, a new look, a new vibe, and even some intimacy and a sense of enclosure into a space. So just drop in an evergreen or something with the presence of an evergreen with beautiful vertical stature like this Eugenia. Right now, the Topiary and the geranium look beautiful because it's been relatively cool. We've gotten rain, and the heat hasn't really hit with a vengeance yet. So consequently, the geraniums still look pretty good. But as soon as it gets really, really hot, they're going to start to fade and not look as beautiful. And they are going to require more shade and more protection, which means that I can't have them staged in the locations where I have them staged now in places where I want an infusion of color. Like back here on my topiary stand. I love the way this looks with this beautiful orange color. But again, pretty soon it's going to get too hot and I'm going to have to move these geraniums out someplace else. They will slow down their blooming and I won't have that beautiful pop of red to rely on. So I'm going to have to get it from somewhere else, and I'll be showing you where I'm going to get it. But another thing that I want to point out right here is, well, we'll talk about that when we come back. Okay, so one thing, and again, all garden design to a certain extent is subjective, but one thing that kind of disturbs me and disturbs my eye is when people drop in color in their flower beds or on their porches or whatever, and it just looks a little bit unorganized and as if it just isn't a family unit, like it just doesn't go together. Because when you buy individual pots from different places and you just drop them in, one might be in a pink pot, one might be in a blue pot, you might have some in glazed pottery, you might have some in terracotta, but they all don't look like they blend together. So for drop-in color, whether it's on your patio or in your garden beds, try to make sure that they're all kind of in the same family, the same color family, or the same kind of textural family or something, so they look like they belong together and that they look as if they belong together since the beginning of the season. Something that, or as Bunny Mello would say, nothing should be noticed. It shouldn't look like you just dropped them in at the last minute for a desperate effort to get some interest and some color in your garden. So I went to Lowe's the other day, and you may recall that I got these great pots. These are, well, they're kind of like faux metal. They look like galvanized metal, and I got them because I loved the way they kind of mimicked a couple of different things. They mimicked this ice chest that I have. And by the way, I will put up a link. I can't open this right now because I've got this pot on here. And I'm not going to try because I might hurt my elbow. But this swings open, and this is an ice chest. And I also have some ribbed galvanized metal bucket planters. So I wanted something that kind of looked like it matched. And I got a number of these. So on my first run, I got several of this size, and these are called, well, they don't really have a name. The number is 5990140 if you wanted to order them online. But they look great. They blend in seamlessly, I think, with what I've got going in the backyard. And since I really love the way they look, well, they just don't look as if they are faux metal. So because I like the way they look, and because I'm going to put more drop-in color here in the back to replace some of these geraniums and such, well, so since I like them so much in the baby size, in the baby bear size, I decided I would like them equally as much in the mama bear size and even in the papa bear size, which is right over there. Stuart, can you see them? And so to replace, I still want that infusion of red in the backyard. It would be a different color palette in the front, but because I still want red, once those geraniums begin to fail, I will have waiting in the wings some of this Saucy red salvia. These are from the Southern Living Plant Collection. I love them. I think they just do great in our summer heat. And by the way, this is another important opportunity for me to point out that when you get these, they are not already pre-drilled. You can easily just use a hammer and a nail to puncture a hole in them, but they're not pre-drilled. So be careful of that so that whatever you place in there doesn't get waterlogged. Now these, I can either just plop my planter in there, or again, I want them to be more long lasting. I don't want to have to water them as much, and I really want them to thrive. So I will probably pot this red salvia directly into these containers. These came plants by mail, and so they've got they're in fine shape, but some of the blossoms fell off in transit. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna plant these up. I'm gonna give them a nice feed, a good watering, get them reestablished with some new compost into these pots. And by the time these are starting to flush out again, will be about the same time that the geraniums in the back are starting to sag. So then all I'll have to do is replace those with these. Now, those are annuals. I might even just keep them in those pots and overwinter them. So that will make it less expensive for me to utilize or to use the same strategy next year. But you can also do it with blooming shrubs, which I think are sometimes even more effective. So one thing that I was disappointed in this year was that even though they will still bloom because they bloom on new wood, my mophead hydrangeas were really delayed. So I'm going to try to grow some mopheads in containers, i.e. in these really large matching pots. And this is 5990143. I'd tell you to look up the name, but I can't because there's not a specific title for these. But they're made out of recycled material, and that's the number in case you want to look for them. Stuart will also try to put up the links if we can. But this also brings me to, I think, the next caveat about drop-in color if you want it to be effective, long-lasting, and lower maintenance, and that is use as large a pot as possible. Now, we all like the hanging basket size, the smaller ones of these containers that I showed you, but they're going to require more watering, and I understand that, and I'm going into the summer clear-eyed about that. But some of these, I don't want to be a slave to water during the summertime, and I still want them to pump out new growth. I also might want to overwinter these, so there is not the possibility of them being frozen out with a late freeze. So these I can then put under cover, and since these are so lightweight, and since they blend harmoniously with all of the other containers, I think it'll be a good strategy. So I'll make sure that I puncture this, that I give them good drainage. And by the way, you may ask, what am I going to fill all of these pots up with? Well, look at all of these things I pulled out of the front garden bed. These will break down over time. They will use up lots of volume. They'll create good drainage at the bottom, and they won't end up either in my compost pile or up and down the alley where I'm using some of them to reseed the alley. So I am then going to take these gorgeous Heartthrob hydrangeas. These are red, so they're going to go in the back, and I will plant them in these big pots. They will continue to grow. They've got enough room that the plant can really get established in there, can really mature, and it will mature beautifully over time because I'm going to keep them in these pots and I'm going to keep them protected over the winter. So if you heed these three caveats, I think that you're going to be a lot more successful with your container plantings, your drop-in containers, if you will. It will save you time, it'll save you water, it'll save you money. So right now I've got all of my materials. I've got really large pots. I've got a combination of annuals, perennials, and shrubs. I've got the containers to match and look consistent and are harmonious with the rest of my garden. And now I need to do is just pot them up. So I'll be doing that. I will show you, of course, and then the fun part is just staging them where I want them to grow. But wait, I forgot the final tip, and probably the most important one. Make sure to select plants that can really be good looking from now until frost, because you don't want to have to repeat and continually refresh your garden. So I think that's really important too. What's also important, that if you like this kind of content, make sure to subscribe. Give us a thumbs up. Give us I always want to call it the aha button, but it's not. The hype button. Press the hype button, and most importantly, share with others that you think might enjoy this kind of content. And we're really trying to up the community vibe of all of our platforms. So if you want to stay in touch via my newsletter, then make sure to sign up for my newsletter right here, and you'll get a copy of something. You'll get a copy of my garden manifesto or top 10 design tips. Anyway, you'll get a freebie, but most importantly, you'll be a crucial part of this community. So you guys enjoy the rest of your week.